Fargo is with you now when you might have more financial questions than answers. Whether you're creating a budget, figuring out if it's a good time to buy a house, or trying to get a handle on your expenses, Wells Fargo is with you, folks. Together, we'll go far. Bloomquist, who had a hit last night as a pinch hitter, takes the first pitch for a strike called, and we're underway. We went 1-for-1 and scored a run in their big comeback. They were down 6-0 and came back to win it. Down and out a ball. That'll even it 1-1. Bloomquist, as he leads off tonight, hitting .280. Been in just 22 of their games. Swinging, sends a pop-up down the right side, and it'll go back into the seats down past our dugout, well back about 20 rows. And with the roof closed, 73 inside, of course, it always is, and it's 92 outside. Bloomquist with 5 doubles, no triples, 1 homer, 7 runs batted in, and he's playing left field tonight for Arizona. Everybody back in place after going to take a look at the pop-up foul. There's a comeback into the mound, leaping and getting it. Norris, the quick toss onto Wallace. And you get the leadoff batter, Bloomquist, out, and it'll bring up Johnson. Kelly Johnson, their second baseman, will be stepping in. Last night he went 2 for 4, stole a base, drove in a run, also walked and scored a run. Johnson tonight hitting .211, 11 doubles, no triples, 7 homers, tied for second on the D-backs, and 19 runs batted in. Right across the knees for a called strike from Norris. Norris, 26 years old, 6 feet even, 220, about a year and 2/3 of time in the big leagues. Next pitch is down and in a ball, and the count is even at 1-1. As Johnson bats, Roberts, the third baseman, moves on deck over to the left side. Johnson up close at third. There's a swing and a foul out of play over to the left side. Now early with the 6 o'clock start on a Saturday, Pence and maybe second baseman Hall would have a little trouble with the sun. But in another 45 minutes to an hour, that'll all be gone. And here is the 1-2. Swinging, bouncer first base. Wallace has it. Overhand toss to Norris, who covers. And it's 2 away, both on the ground. Ryan Roberts, 2 for 5 last night, scored a run. He's hit safely in 7 of his last 9 games. He's their leading hitter at .281. 6 doubles, 7 homers, 22 runs batted in. Walks a lot. He leads them in walks with 25. And in on-base percentage, he's 7th in the league at .391. Right-hand batter Roberts, and the pitch from Norris. Got an outside corner, so Norris has got the corner zeroed in here in the early going. Couple of ground ball outs as Roberts is up in there. Drew is on deck. Swinging and coming up empty. A good bite on that slider, and he cut over it, and he's in the hole. 0-2. Just underway in the middle game of this series. Wrap it up here tomorrow. Not only the series, but the homestand. Ready for the 0-2. Tried to get him to go fishing down and away, but he laid off. And it's 1-2. Norris would like to have some economy innings here and be able to go deeper in this game. Way high. Fastball sailed upstairs. And it's 2-2. Folks still coming in with the early start. Going to have one of our better crowds here tonight. All part of a big Memorial Day weekend at Minute Maid Park. Fouled up into the screen. Like we told them all week, Dave. Lots of things going on in this park tonight around the ball game, and it looks like the folks have responded to it.
Yeah, I mean, this is as full as we've seen it here in probably the last couple homestands.
Ready for
groups out.
Ready for the 2-2 with nobody on and 2 away. Right-hand pitcher, right-hand batter. Swinging and fouling it off, and it's still 2-2. New baseball thrown out by the plate umpire Brian Runge, a third-generation umpire. I know the managers, when his granddad was umpiring, Ed Runge, a lot of managers said, boy, if they had a big ball game, they wanted Ed Runge calling the balls and strikes. Just missed down and away. That's pretty high praise when managers talk about you that way.
Well, managers don't usually have a lot of real positive stuff to say about umpires in general. So anything positive is nice.
Ready for the payoff. And he got him on an outside corner. Roberts jumped up and down. He thought he had a walk. But Runge rings him up. 1-2-3 for Norris. And the Astros are just now coming into bat. Coaches. Dave Clark at third. Bobby Meacham is at first. We saw a lot of Duke when he was with the Pirates. There's a bunt attempt and pops it up behind home plate, so a pitch in and out. Montero threw away the mask and just came back and got it. So Bourne, who had the big night last night, 3 for 5 and drove in 3, pops it up, and that will bring up Barmas. Duke did not have a lot of success as a Pirate, way under 500, 45 and 70. He was there from 05 to 10. 6 years in the big leagues. The left-hander ready to bring it. And a strike called on the knees of Barmas. Barmas last night 0 for 2, but got hit by a pitch and walked and scored each time that he reached. Here's the pitch. Down and away.
He didn't have a lot of success in wins and losses, but he didn't get much run support, and turns out he's the all-time winningest pitcher at PNC Park.
Here's the pitch on the way. Fouled out of play. Probably wishes. He probably wouldn't say it now that he's a D-back, but he would be playing with the best Pirate team they had in his big league tenure if he was there now.
Yeah, well, and you look at his numbers against the Astros, 3 wins, 5 losses, very much a losing record, but an ERA under 3.5 against the Astros. Gives you an idea of how much run support he got there.
Ready for the 1-2. A bouncer to second. Johnson to one knee, straightens up and fires. And it's 2 away here in a hurry. And it'll bring up Hunter Pence, the hottest stick on the Astros club. 8-game hitting streak. And hitting .412 in the streak, 14 for 34. Last night he went 1 for 3, drove in a run, stole a base, walked a couple times and scored. And as he steps into the batter's box, Carlos Lee moves on deck over to the right side. Down and out. Pence having a good first third of the year, batting .301, second on the club. He's in the top 10 of 9 different categories. There's a chopper to short, got a charge. Pence will run hard and be out by a half a step as Drew charged it, took it on that big hop, threw him out. So it's 1-2-3 in the first for both pitchers, and we'll go to the second, 0-0. On this broadcast, employed and paid by the Astros Baseball Club. As we go to the second, get our first look at a busy Saturday scoreboard. Second inning scoreboard brought to you by Center Point Energy. Center Point Energy, always there. Stephen Drew, the shortstop, went 0 for 2 last night, but he walked 3 times and scored a run. As he bats for the first time tonight, he's hitting .261. And the pitch to him as he bats left-handed goes down and in, ball 1. He leads them in RBIs with 28. Shortstop Drew, cleanup hitter, be followed by Young. Comes up empty on that late swing, and it's a ball and a strike. So let's get busy with that scoreboard.
Yeah, well, American League, couple of finals in. They went 14 innings today up at Rogers Center in Toronto. Blue Jays ultimately prevailing 9-8 over the White Sox.
Fouling it out of play. That'll make it 1-2.
Patterson and Bautista homered for Toronto. Jose Bautista now with 20 home runs this year. My goodness. Cleveland Indians recently have been going through their first little scuffle of the regular season. They've lost 3 in a row.
Swinging and a shot through the right side, a base hit. Split Wallace and Hall. First hit of the game in the early going. First hit of the series for Stephen Drew.
But, speaking of Cleveland, 3 straight losses. They'd dropped 5 of their last 10, and yet still had added ground or added to their lead in the division because the 2 teams closest to them and even worse stretches over the last week and a half. But they did win today. Cleveland over Tampa Bay, 7-3 the final score down there in Florida.
Chris Young, 2 for 5 last night, drove in a run in a 4-game hitting streak, going 6 for 15. And he's also hit safely in 10 of his last 13 games. Swinging and popping. Right side. It's going to come out behind the first baseman at foul ground. And Bill Hall had a better look at it. Rather than backpedaling, he could come on an angle. That takes care of Young, who was batting .234 in his first at bat tonight. And Montero, Miguel Montero, the catcher, will be stepping in. Drew at first, 1 out. Montero last night 0 for 4. Drew a walk, scored a run. And the pitch to him is fouled off, out of play.
Your other American League games that are underway, Kansas City at Texas, just now going to the bottom of the first in a scoreless game there. Similar story in Minnesota, where the Angels and Twins are playing without a score in the very early stages of that one. Boston and Detroit in a delay right now at Detroit. Apparently some rain up that way.
Throw over to first. Just did dive back in safely, did Stephen Drew. Had to hit the dirt. Reach out that hand. Montero with a no ball, 1 strike count. Batting .266, 11 doubles, 5 homers, 20 RBIs. Another throw over. Drew is back safely. Drew 3 stolen bases in 5 attempts, but Norris been working on him here. Goes back to a lead, not a big lead. And the pitch is tight on the knees of Montero. Montero's hit safely in 5 of his last 7, gone 8 for 26. Takes a long look at his third base coach, Matt Williams. A ball and a strike. Norris taking a little extra time. Now he's ready. Stops with a high stretch and delivers. And a strike call, got enough of the corner.
Milo, in the American League, there will be 2 games much later on tonight out on the West Coast. Baltimore visiting the Oakland A's, and the Yankees up in Seattle round out the American League schedule today.
Throw over again, but not close. 1 ball, 2 strikes. In the bottom of the inning, Dave Raymond will take a look at the National League board for Center Point Energy. Left-hand batter, Montero. Right-hand pitcher, Norris. Now Norris steps away. Norris ready again. Stops up around the chin with that stretch. Fouling it off, out of play, over to the left, and it's still 1-2. Tomorrow we get back to the 1:05 first pitch. Airtime 12:40. And we'll have our weekly visit with General Manager Ed Wade. And the ball club takes off right after the game. A trip into Wrigley for 3, and then on to San Diego for 4. Norris will check on Drew and brings it to the hitter. Popping foul. And when the game is over Monday at Wrigley, it's an afternoon game on Memorial Day. The season will be exactly 1/3 over. So that's when you start measuring things.
A lot of people feel like you really can't look at the standings or those kinds of things until you get to about that point. There we will be on this next road trip.
Montero waiting on another 1-2. Norris steps off again. He's really bothered with Drew here. Throwing over several times, stepping off a couple of more times. 1-2. Norris ready again, kicks and fires. And a shot, a leap and lean over the glove of Hall. And Pence says, hey, Drew got a late start. He threw, and it was close at second base, but Drew did make it in there.
Well, Stephen Drew kind of held up, wondering if that ball might be caught. And when it landed out in right field, realized suddenly he had to take off. That was a liner just by Bill Hall, and he was but inches away from snaring it, and then Drew would have been hung up for a potential double play at first. But when that ball got to right field, He had to double back his efforts to get to second, and Pence almost got it there in front of him.
This is Miranda. Had the big night last night. Two-run homers. Drove in 4, scored twice as he went 2 for 5. And both balls left the yard. Had the first 2 home run game of his career and helped their comeback. Like he led it. One time the Astros led 6-0. He got them within 6-4. Then the other players took over from there. Norris delivering in a swing, and he missed by Miranda. He's hit safely in 6 out of his last 7 at a .423 clip, 11 for 26. Batting .270 overall. 5 doubles, 2 triples, 5 home runs now. 14 runs batted in. 2 on for him, 1 out, second inning. Norris will check at second, bring it to the hitter, backs him off up around the batting helmet. And it's 1-1. Toll's waiting to give the sign because Miranda had stepped out quite a while. Now he's back up in there. Batting left-handed against the right-hander Norris, and here's the pitch. Tight and low. It's Faith and Family Night here, and they have responded as our Blue Star group of the night. They brought 5,000 in their group. Miranda just keeps stepping out. Now he's back up in there, stands with a straightaway stance. And here's the pitch to him. Almost hit him in the hip. Outs 3-1. So as effective as Norris was in the first inning, going the other way here in the second. Single, pop-up single, has now gone 3-1 on Miranda. Parra is on deck. Pitch from Norris. Almost hit him, and it's ball 4, and the bases are loaded. And with the way this ball club takes advantage of things like this is a tough way to get going in this second inning. Well, they don't have, we talked about it last night. It's hard to find a big standout. But up and down the order, they've got guys, and they just can't wait to punish you when you get a foot in the door.
They're an interesting offense, one that relies quite a bit on the long ball. And what you want to avoid with the Diamondbacks is putting runners on for free. Or here you are now with the bases loaded. Parra can hit home runs. It's maybe not the biggest part of his game, but the good news for Norris, he's got the 8 and 9 hitters coming up here.
Parra last night 1 for 4 and a balk. That'll put Drew on the pay station. Montero to third, Miranda to second. Oof. Johnson and Hall coming in, trying to soothe Norris down here a little bit. That's his second walk of the year and puts them on the board. Runners second and third, 1 out. Another left-hand batter for Norris to contend with here. And the pitch to Parra, backs him off. And he's having trouble when he's pitching inside. He's driving him off, and that's how he's getting behind.
Well, it might be worth noting, too, Norris and Toles working together for the first time this year, and clearly some miscommunication going on between the two of them. I think that's what happened on the balk. Norris was having trouble coming to an agreement on a pitch from Toles. The two couldn't quite match up, and it caused that one little hitch, resulting in the balk. And now asking Toles to come out and talk things over, and Norris did all the talking. A lot of time when you see those little conferences, it's the catcher doing the talking, but not in this case.
Norris steps back, scrapes the dirt out of his spikes, then gets up on the hill. Got a 1-0 count to Para. Left-hand batter waiting. And the pitch on the way. Fouling back. And the mound right now is bathed fully in the sunlight streaming through the big window with the roof closed. Montero third, Miranda second, first base empty. As a result of this, after a very economical pitch count in the first, next pitch will be number 35, and he's only retired one batter here in the second inning.
He and Norris still really struggling.
And the pitch. Swinging and lining it foul down the right side. Boy, he was sitting on that one, wasn't he?
Yeah. He and Toles, rather. The two of them are struggling right now, getting on the same page. I don't know if it's a difference in philosophies on how they want to pitch to Para, or if it's a matter of trying to mix up the signs a little bit, with Miranda standing out at second base and not clear on the indicator or whatever. But the two of them really having a tough time with it.
And you just hope that doesn't lead to a mistake here, or we'd cross Toles up. High fly ball, left center. Carlos Lee backs up and has it. It's deep enough to get the runner home from third, Montero. And it is 2-0 on the sac fly by Para to the opposite field. 2 away now in the inning. And the pitcher, Zach Duke, will be stepping in. Still a runner at second. That's Miranda. He reached on a walk. Norris working to his mound opponent, Duke. He'd like to get him and cut his losses here and have them only get the deuce they've come up with so far. A balk got him one, and a sac fly got him the second run. Pitch on the way. And that's down, and he falls behind Duke, 2-0. Now this is more reminiscent of Norris early in the year. Maybe he'd have a great first inning, and then second inning have some trouble, and he sure is here. Bouncer first. Wallace has to back up. Then he'll flip it to Norris, who covers. Side retired. But they get a pair out of it all. And that puts us in the middle of the second at Minute Maid Park on Astros Radio. got Lee, Johnson, and Wallace due in the inning. Carlos Lee 1 for 5 last night. Facing the left-hander, Zach Duke. Carlos hitting .246 overall. First pitch to him, strike call in the outside corner. Lee with 9 doubles, 2 triples, 4 homers, second on the club in RBIs with 25. A 2-hopper to short. Drew will charge, fire, threw it low, but dug out of there by Miranda. And that's the first 4 retired here. 3 of them on ground balls for Zach Duke.
Well, the National League today, the Padres got loose for 2 runs today on 7 hits. And with that, that's often enough for them, and it was today. 2-1 win over the Washington Nationals. Tim Stoffer picked up his first victory. Keith Bell his 11th save. Pirates today blasted the Cubs. A windy day in Chicago. Supposed to be a lot of offense. The Pirates had plenty.
And the first pitch, strike call to Chris Johnson. He went 1 for 3 last night. He's had 6 RBIs in his last 7 games. And the pitch from the lefty bounced foul down the left side.
The Pirates hit 4 home runs and scored 10 runs on 10 hits today. And meanwhile, Paul Mahalam, in unfavorable conditions, tossed a 3-hitter, and all 3 hits really could have been played for outs.
Fouled up into the screen, holding 0-2 to Johnson, who tonight in his first at bat hitting .214, 7 doubles, a triple, 5 homers, second on the club, 23 RBIs, third on the Astros. 0-2 to Chris Johnson. Pitch on the way. Up and in.
Mahalam, by the way, in that game, he came in 1-7. He used 91 pitches. The Cubs 3 hits, 2 infield singles, and a double by Alfonso Soriano that was nearly caught at the wall.
Ready for the 1-2. Fouling it off the end of the bat, and it's still 1-2.
It's been a real bad go for the Chicago Cubs, who are now 22-28 overall with today's loss. Now the Brewers beat San Francisco today 3-2 in Milwaukee. Axford got the win in relief because it was a run in the bottom of the 9th inning to give the Brewers the walk-off victory.
Ready for the 1-2. And there's a foul up here short of the mezzanine on the right side. So Johnson still up there with a 1-2 count.
By the way, the run for the Brewers in that game came on a bases loaded squeeze. Scoring Ryan Braun from third base. Jonathan Lucroy, who was pinch hitting, laid down the bunt, and that's how the Brewers beat San Francisco.
Here's another 1-2. Then he bounces it past the mound. Second baseman to his right. Johnson will pick it, throw him out, and there's 2 down. So Duke getting a lot of ground balls here in the early going. And Brett Wallace will be the batter.
All your other National League scores are very early on, like the Phillies and Mets underway in New York. Cardinals and Rockies in Denver, no score in that ball game. Reds and Braves also very early on there. Later on today, it'll be the Marlins and Dodgers out in Los Angeles.
Wallace last night 1 for 4, facing a lefty here, swings and misses. Strike 1. Wallace, your leading hitter at .313, but he has dropped out of the top 10 on this homestand. 3 homers, 15 runs, batted in, 14 doubles. Second on the club, tied for third in the league. And a ball makes it 1-1. Wallace has stepped out, but he's right back up in there. Zach Duke is ready and brings it to him. And that's a ball.
So that's it so far in the National League this afternoon.
And you did it for Center Point Energy. Always there. And Dave Raymond will have more on the scores on the 5th, the 8th, and everything on the post-game scoreboard. Got to keep folks up to date. And we do so very well on Astros Radio. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Wallace batting with nobody on and 2 away. Second inning. D-backs are in front 2-0. Here's the pitch. Started, laid off. They wanted to appeal. Third base umpire, crew chief Ted Barrett, palms down, no swing. So it's a full count to Wallace. Bill Hall is on deck. If Wallace can get on here, here's the 3-2. Fouling it over to the left, out of play again. In the finale of the series tomorrow, it's going to be Happ against Colementor. Here's the 3-2. Fly ball out into left center, and the left fielder going to have to dig. Bloomquist comes hard, gets there. Another 1-2-3 inning for Duke. If there was going to be any rust, he hasn't shown it in his first start of the year. And we'll go to the third inning. The D-backs are on top of the Astros 2-0. Top of the order is due against Norris, who had a rocky second and fell behind 2-0. Bloomquist tapped one back to him in the first inning to start the game. Popping foul out of play over to the right side. United Airlines, proud to be the official airline of the Astros, and with over 370 destinations throughout the world. Oh, you bet United Airlines. They go to our away games too. There's a pop up over here to the right into the seats, and tomorrow they'll be all ready. Barry Waters, the traveling sec, has all the arrangements made as they head to the Windy City for 3. And 2 out of the 3 will be in the afternoon at Wrigley Field. Monday and Wednesday, night game Tuesday. Looping liner center, Bourne on, Bourne there. That ball started to sink a little, but Bourne had broken nicely and made it look easy at the end of the play.
You're going to take it for granted. Michael Bourne, 2 years in a row, Gold Glove in center field. He roams the largest center field in all of Major League Baseball, and he does it with such grace. Sometimes it does look easy, looks routine, but it is not.
Kelly Johnson bounced to first in the opening inning. Left-hand batter facing a right-hand pitcher. And a line-sinking liner, and it was grabbed by Hall, and give the 2 umpires both at first and second credit, because that ball looked like it was right at the grass tops, and Hall did grab it, and they signaled immediately clean catch.
A real shoestring grab, reaching across the body and literally inches off the grass. Nice play.
This is Ryan Roberts, called out on strikes, first inning. So something that Norris needed here, trying to have a quick inning, because he faced 6 batters in the second, and they scored a couple of times. There's a strike called. to Ryan Roberts, a right-hand batter playing third base. And the pitch on the way. Breaking ball misses. In fact, took something off. So Roberts gets right back up in there, holds the bat high as he bats right-handed. Off the outside corner. 2 balls and a strike. Norris works again. Swings and he misses. Whoa. That might be as good of action at the end of a pitch as he's shown so far. That was a diver. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on in the third for the visiting D-backs. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Went upstairs after the one that dove into the dirt and got him. 1, 2, 3 inning. That's the way to cut back on that pitch count. Second strikeout for Norris. Both times it's been Roberts. Bottom of the third coming on Astros radio from Minute Maid Park. Heck, it's what we do in the first inning. First pitch from the left-hander Duke to Hall goes down and away, ball 1. Hall pinch ran last night, did not bat. Here's the 1-0. Fly ball center. Center fielder going back. Young at the track just before he goes up on that terrace. And after he caught it, did go up a couple of steps. And Hall trying to bring back one of the reasons he's back in there tonight, because between he and Barmas, they have really worked over Duke in their careers.
Bill all in the lineup today against the lefty because he hits lefties well as a general rule, but in particular because he has 3 home runs and a .355 career average against Zach Duke. And you saw why. I mean, that was a pretty good swing.
That would have been out of some parks. This is Tolles. First pitch to him, ball 1. Tolles played last night, always went to bat, went to bat 1 time and walked after the injury to Humberto Quintero. Swing and a miss. It's a ball and a strike. Tolles batting only .229. 4 doubles, no triples, a couple of homers, driven in 5 runs. He'll now be asked to catch more often because Q's going to be out a while. There's a swing and a foul down the left side.
15 days minimum. No question. The injury to Quintero was a tough one last night, not just for Q, but for this team. They've been catching 60% of the games.
Up and out of their ball, and You just don't know how a high ankle sprain will respond either. Because there's damage in there that you just don't know about, really. Here is the 2-2. Look out, the bat whirls over by their dugout. And I've said this before, other people have too, as the strikeout is registered on tolls. And some people say, are you crazy? And I'll say, well, that's been in it. But sometimes you're better off to break it than to get a high ankle sprain. And my son, for instance.
Crazy?
Oh, you're back to that. Nope. But Muggs broke one and had a high sprain on another. And he's going to be 56. And that happened in high school. And the one he broke, he never feels. The one that had the high sprain, he feels to this day once in a while. So don't ask me to explain all of that, except that a high sprain is tougher than it sounds. Foul ball coming back this way, but not quite. And you don't have a glove anyway.
No, I don't need a glove.
Pitch to Norris. Swings and misses. A couple of strikeouts in a row. The only two in the game so far for Duke. And he goes through the order without a blemish. 9 up, 9 down. And we'll go to the 4th inning in the middle game of this 3-game set on Astros Radio. 2-0 Arizona. Second trouble, including a balk, and ended up giving a couple of runs. So let's see if he's back in the groove now after that 3rd inning. And we'll find out soon enough from Dave Raymond and Brett Dolan.
Okay, thank you, Milo. Indeed. Chance here for Norris to come back and do maybe some more damage against the same guys who hurt him in that 2nd inning. And Astros fans, Cons is offering 48-month special financing on all HD TVs, $19.99 and up. Cons, because you deserve it. So here we go. Stephen Drew leading it off. He singled in the 2nd inning and eventually scored a run. Left-handed batter. First pitch to him, a fastball right in there. Strike 1. Norris, it seems to me in recent starts anyway, doesn't rear back and throw as hard as he once did. His next delivery popped foul back behind the plate. That one all the way into the upper deck. But they couldn't hold it. And it fell straight down to the box seats way below. That's why some people need to bring a glove when they come to the park.
Isn't that the truth?
Drew all set deep in the box. Here's the 0-2. And there's a slider swung on, and that one ripped right field. Pence coming on, takes it on a hop. A base hit for Stephen Drew. So again, the lead man aboard for Arizona, Drew, who drew a lot of attention last time when he led off an inning with a base hit. But Norris threw over quite a bit, fearful that he might try and run. We'll see if they keep a watchful eye on him again here. Chris Young coming to the plate, a right-handed hitter. Young popped up in the second. He's 0 for 1. Diamondbacks lead 2-0 tonight, middle game of this 3-game series. Tomorrow right back out here for an afternoon tilt. First pitch on the way, and Young will take it low and outside. Ball 1. Infield at double play depth. Barmes and Hall at shortstop and second base respectively pulled in a couple of strides toward the grass and pinched in near the bag. Runner with a good lead. Norris peaks. High leg kick. Now the pitch, and that one is outside. Ball 2. Check that. I'm going to say that Young offered on a check swing, and so it is a strike. 1-1 to count. Norris, though, again, seems to me he's pulled back on the velocity a little bit, and I want to talk to him about this. We have seen him throw 95, 96, but today low 90s, and I think that might be a conscious effort on his part. He checks first and delivers just a little bit outside. 2-1 to count. Maybe to command the fastball a little better. There's been a lot of talk about that in the last couple of years. Brad Mills seems to feel very strongly about it, that Norris, while he might have the greatest slider, one of the best sliders in the National League, would do well, in fact much better, were to control the fastball a little more and get ahead with it. The 2-1 pitch, and there's a breaking ball down low. It's 3-1.
I think it all makes perfect sense. Most pitchers might give up a mile or two on the radar gun or velocity to have a little better location, especially when you have the natural stuff and movement that Norris does to begin with.
Stocky right-hander. Last year was his first full season in the big leagues, and he'll throw one over to first base. Stephen Drew dives back in there. Last year was, I want to say, 5th in the National League in strikeouts per 9 innings. There's a 3-1 pitch, and there's a swing and a little tap or foul. This year, he's actually ranked a little higher in that category. He averages 10 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. And that is 3rd in the National League so far this year. And in that particular category, I mean, puts him in really pretty heady company. Checks first again, throws over there, and Drew dives back in there. Matt Garza of the Cubs, and that surprises me, leads the National League with 11 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. Cliff Lee of the Phillies, 10.4, and then there's Bud Norris. Runner going, there's a swing, and that's fouled back off the screen behind the plate. Kicks up in the air and lands about 15 rows up in the stands. Full count on Chris Young.
It was coming up in our direction if it didn't hit the top of that screen. We've been challenged for this no glove philosophy of yours.
I saw you jump, and I fear I don't really need a glove. If you're anywhere near, you're going to dive out in front of it. I trust Milo would do the same, try and protect you. Drew leads again. Norris with a check. He's going. The pitch on the way. There's a swing and a foul ball back our direction. Into the club level, just above our heads and a little bit to the left. It's about as straight back as you can foul the ball right there.
He's staying in the neighborhood, so to speak. Those last two have been moving. There's nothing nice and leisurely about those foul balls.
Chris, over here. Go to the right. Let's see. Runner goes again. 3-2 pitch. Check swing. That's a strike. Throw down to second. The tag. Got him. A double play. Strike him out. Throw him out. Twin killing is Young struck out swinging, and Drew was out at second base. He still doesn't believe it. Neither does Kirk Gibson. And now the Diamondbacks skipper up off the bench racing out there to have a word with Marvin Hudson, the man who called him out.
He'll drop the ball. I mean, the question is, did he drop it when he went to throw it around the infield, or did he drop it after the tag attempt of Drew? And right away, Hudson's going to get some help from Ted Barrett.
I'll give Hudson credit. He asked for the help. And in fact, now he is going to call him safe. And it does look on the replay like Hall had it very much in the mitt. But then on the tag, just the initial contact knocked it loose. Came right out. And Drew is indeed safe. So much for the double play. The stolen base for Stephen Drew is 4th of the year. Only one out, and that brings out Astros skipper Brad Mills.
It's too bad for Toles. He had thrown out one base stealer this year, made a good throw, would have been number 2, but the ball got jarred loose out of the glove of Hall.
It was a good throw, and it was in the glove, and the tag was down and on Drew well before he hit the bag. So everything about it executed perfectly. But Billy's had a little trouble today holding the ball in his glove. He had a ball, it was at the end of the warm-up tosses after the first inning. And on the last warm-up toss, Toles throws it down to second base. It's sort of a long-standing tradition in baseball where the catcher will make that one toss, and then we start the inning. They threw it down and put it right off of Hall's glove and into center field. And there he dropped one that would have been an out. Now Miguel Montero, a left-handed hitter. 2-0 Diamondbacks. And a fastball from Norris is high, ball 1. And while all of that was transpiring a moment ago, umpires consulting both managers over that close play at second. Toles was back out at the mound. Norris was doing most of the talking again, and a real kind of aggressive posture by Norris. Here's the 1-0, and there's a swing and a miss. Evens the count at 1-1. Well, Toles does get his second caught stealing. And a good call, good scoring decision. It's caught stealing, but an E4 that allows Drew to stay at second base. So only 3 stolen bases for Drew again. Because now Norris will turn around and look at second. Drew not going anywhere, nobody covering the back.
Like that. I mean, there are a few official scores that might just say, stolen base, it was a continuous play, but in the rule book, of course, if that throw is dropped or muffed at second base, you have to give the pitcher and catcher credit for that.
I think the fact that he was called out really helped solidify and make the decision easy from the official scoring standpoint. I mean, if the play's completed, it's an out. It wasn't completed because an error was made. The 1-1, high fastball again. Ball 2. And Norris, though those last 2 fastballs have been at 91 miles per hour, clearly not the hardest he'll throw. They've been wildly out of the zone, and he has a look of a guy who's trying to overthrow right here out of some frustration. Man at second, 1 out. Diamondbacks lead 2-0. Montero waiting. Here's the pitch, and he'll swing and miss at a breaking ball in the dirt. And strike 2. Montero singled in the second inning. Came in hitting .266. And his single was one that went just past Bill Hall. I mean, maybe missed the end of his glove by a couple of inches in that second inning. Infield is back. Norris takes a look at the runner. Now delivers, and there's a swing, and that one's ripped on the right field line, base hit. Long run for Hunter Pence. Drew rounds third. He'll score easily. Montero, a catcher, lumbering into second and content to hold with a double. Just about anybody else in the batting order might have even tried for a third base there. That ball hit well all the way down into the right field corner, and Pence was way, way out of position. That is to say, he was playing Montero to hit it up the middle, not over toward the line. So an RBI double, and it makes it 3-0 Arizona.
2 strike hits. That was part of the problem in that last start for Bud and Hall. They did a good job to get to that point where a lot of times he might finish hitters off, but not the case there with Montero.
So again, struggling with this portion of the lineup. Here is Miranda, who rips one down the first baseline, foul. Juan Miranda, who walked in the second, hit a couple of 2-run homers last night for the Diamondbacks when they came back from a 6-0 deficit to win the ball game 7-6. Part of an amazing run the Diamondbacks were on, but one of the greatest comebacks in their franchise's history. Here comes the pitch, and that's a fastball on the inside corner for a strike. That one at 93 from Norris. The count 0-2. Down by 6 runs to come back and win. A fairly rare feat for any franchise. It's the largest in Diamondbacks history, although they had done that on a couple of different occasions. A comeback from 6 runs down. But it matches a franchise record. Montero at second base. Astros play this left-handed hitter Miranda to pull on the infield. Here's the pitch. And it's very high. Fastball at 94.
Tough part was, though, for Houston, last night was the 8th time this year they've lost a game in which they've had a lead of at least 3 runs. 5 times in which they've led by at least 4 runs, and each of those a major league leading total. It was just an accumulation of all kinds of strange things at the end of the game that allowed Arizona to have that big comeback, but it clearly counts.
Miranda waiting on a 1-2. They set up inside. Here's the pitch, and there's a swing and a miss over the top of the slider. Strike 3. And for Norris, his 4th strikeout tonight. 2 away. Gerardo Parra heading to the plate, and we will pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Astros Radio Network. Well, now Gerardo Parra is going to be intentionally walked as they hold out the 4 fingers and deliver ball 1. That will put men at first and second for the pitcher, Zach Duke. There's ball 2. Back here at Minute Maid Park, roof closed tonight on a very warm Memorial Day weekend. It was 92 degrees at game time tonight, but 73 comfortable air-conditioned degrees indoors. 3-0 the count on Parra. And here comes ball 4. There he goes to first base. I'm Dave Raymond with Brett Dolan. Great to have you with us tonight, no matter where you may be. And this is a night of no television. We hope that means maybe a couple more radio listeners. We know we have some of the greatest Astros fans in the world down in Raymondville, Texas. KSOX 1240. They continue to work on the homecoming parade. Minden, Louisiana, KASO 1240 on the AM dial. Here's the first pitch on the way to Zach Duke, and he swings and misses at strike 1. The flagship station is News Radio 740 KTRH in Houston. 3-0 Diamondbacks lead. They've got a couple of men out there for Duke with 2 away. Grounded out his first time up tonight, and he'll take a fastball on the outside corner for strike 2. Duke's not a bad bat handler, a Texas native, born in Clifton, lives in Fort Worth, and about a lifetime 160 hitter in the big leagues. Field plays him deep. Norris with a check of the runners, the 0-2. There's a swing, and that one is lifted high in the air left field. Lee was shallow, racing back to the wall, and it's gone! Whoa, horse! A 3-run homer from Zach Duke. And like that, the Diamondbacks make it a 6-0 ball game. First home run ever for Zach Duke. Opposite field into the Crawford boxes. I mean, front row. It's 315 feet down the line there, and the spot where he hit that might have been about 318 feet. But that's all he needed. 6-0 Arizona.
Boy, that hurts. First row of the Crawford boxes, but off the bat, you knew that could be trouble.
And now the pitch to Willie Bloomquist. Base is empty, and that is a called strike. Norris fastball right in there. Norris throws about 50% fastballs on any given day. 1 strike pitch. There's a swing. That's fouled back. And he has put Bloomquist in a hole 0-2. Well, that was a game changer right there by Zach Duke. Muscling up for an opposite field home run. 3-run blast. Norris clearly agitated, delivers 0-2, and a slider just misses. A little bit outside. Anybody with a bat in their hands in this game can do damage, and that lesson never more evident than just a moment ago. There's a swing and a liner, right field, base hit for Willie Bloomquist. Some of the fans here getting restless. It was a 2-run second inning for the Diamondbacks, and now a 4-run fourth, and here comes Brad Arnsberg, Astros pitching coach, out there to have a word with Norris. Arnie at times can be pretty direct. Now, I'm not noticing anything right now in his posture that would indicate that he is, let's say, upset with Norris, maybe just trying to help him out with something mechanical as he now turns and heads back into the dugout. 6-0 D-backs.
Well, he tries to stay positive for good reason. I'm sure right now it's a tough task to try and convince Bud of that. It's been a frustrating frame for him. He's pitched so well this year in this building.
Yeah, good point. There's a turn and a throw over to first base. I guess after this inning, it may not be worth bringing up, but a 2-0 record at 225 earned run average here. Pitch on the way. Fastball, and that is a called strike.
Feels like to me there's been a couple of starts, including that last one against LA, where maybe the opposition gets a couple of runs at the very end of his night. So 7 innings 1 run becomes 7 innings 3 runs, but still good numbers. But tonight it's been the opposite. It's been early scoring from Arizona.
Another fastball from Norris, and that one's a little bit wide. Takes a count to 1-1. And at first, Willie Bloomquist takes the lead. He has 7 steals this year. Norris checks him. It comes to the plate. 1-1. Runner going, and that's fouled back out of play. Strike 2. Kirk Gibson today mentioned that he allows his hitters during an at-bat, just like this, to call for their own hit and runs, which is more unique in today's age maybe than it was several decades ago. But I'm wondering if that might have been one right there by Johnson. The pitch on the way, and it runs inside. Count goes to 2-2.
I think that would be beyond the comfort level for a lot of these hitters. They wouldn't want to have to find a time to give the signal of some sort to the base runner, or try and do it quickly enough so that the runner or the base coaches can see it.
That's empowering your players, though. You're going to have some confidence to call it on your own. The runner leading, the pitch on the way, the swing and a little roller down the first base side, foul right out in front of the Astros dugout. Matt Boyle hops up and will run that one down. 2 out here in the top of the 4th inning. 2-2 count on Kelly Johnson, the 8th batter of the inning for Arizona. They lead 6-0. Big lead again for Bloomquist. He's going. The pitch on the way, and that one is fouled over to the left side, out of play. Just now coming down into the hands of some awaiting fans down the left field line. Great crowd here tonight. Astros, I mean, every night they're in need of a win. It's a team 19-32 so far this year, and kind of come out here on a daily basis looking for that something, that moment, that game, whatever it is, to maybe turn their fortunes the other directions. A little throw over to first base. Checks Bloomquist, keeps him closer. Here's the pitch. There's a swing. High fly again, left field. Lee going back, this time appears to have room. He's on the track and he makes the catch, and that ends the inning. But it's a 4-run frame for the Diamondbacks, keyed by Zach Duke's first career home run, a 3-run shot. And we'll go to the bottom of the 4th inning today at Minute Maid Park. Diamondbacks 6, Astros nothing, and now this from your local station. of the order at the plate here, and Zach Duke eases one right across the plate for strike one to Michael Bourne. Bourne 0 for 1, popped up in the first inning. Next pitch, and that one is outside to even the count at 1-1. Lefty on lefty here. Bourne has not had a lot of success against Duke in his career. The 1-1 pitch, inside. A little tight there with a fastball. It's 2-1. Michael maybe just one hit in his career against Duke, trying to bunt on him the first inning. Here's a 2-1 pitch, and there's a swing and a miss, chasing a slider away. Evens the count at 2-2. Now 1 for 7. I guess you can make it 1 for 8 now in his career against Duke.
Duke has never won in this building either, and of course he has this 6-0 lead, the same lead that Houston had last night but lost. Maybe things will turn the other way.
Fastball right in there, called third strike. Bourne turns around and heads back to the Astros dugout. He knew it, not an argument at all. And in fact, he made the call well before Brian Runge, the home plate umpire.
As you pointed out, Zach Duke's not allowed a base runner the entire season.
Yeah, he's pitching a perfect season, if you will. This is his Diamondbacks debut. He was struck by a line drive, broke his hand at spring training in his first pitch on the way to Barnes. Down the middle, strike one. Had a lengthy rehab. In fact, we were told before the ballgame today he could throw in the neighborhood of 100 pitches tonight. At full strength. His one strike pitch. There's a swing, and that ball's ripped foul up into the seats. Now quickly 0-2. Some fans might have been a row or two away from that ball and may not have even known that it came by them. That thing was rifled up there. Barmes ready right side, the 0-2. There's a swing, and that ball's hit hard left field. Drops in, base hit. So the Astros' first base runner tonight.
Perfect season's gone.
I feel like we did that maybe earlier on this homestand.
Yeah, I think you tried it, maybe even in the.
Oh no, it was in Atlanta. I think it was in Atlanta. Any case, Astros have a base runner. And now here's Hunter Pence trailing 6-0. Now this was the situation last night. Astros led 6-0 and saw the lead disappear and lost the game 7-6. Now it's their turn to see if they can maybe turn those tables on the D-backs. First pitch on the way, and Pence swings, hammers one in the air to center, but Young is there, and he'll make the catch. Pence out, and there are two away. Well, I do have a health tip for you today, brought to you by the Methodist Weight Management Center. Losing weight is not just about fitting into those favorite jeans. Extra weight can lead to numerous health issues. If you'd like to attend a free seminar about Methodist weight loss program, call 832-667-LOSE or visit MethodistWeightManagement.com. Methodist is leading medicine. And with that, we welcome in Carlos Lee. Here's the first pitch. Right in there, strike one, a fastball at 88 miles per hour. Two away, a man at first. Diamondbacks leading 6-0, and the left-hander Duke throws over to first base, and Barmes dives back in there. Now, Clint has not attempted a stolen base yet this year. Good lead, though, at first. Here comes the one-strike pitch. And that's a fastball down low and away on Carlos Lee. Carlos grounded out in the second inning. He's 0 for 1. He waits. Duke checks his runner again out of the plate, and it's inside. Takes a count to 2-1. A disappointing start to tonight's ball game. We're only in the fourth inning, but a big crowd here. A lot of Houston faithful on hand, hoping to maybe will this team to their 20th win of the year. The 2-1 pitch runs inside, ball 3. Unfortunately, the start has not been a good one, with the Diamondbacks leading 6-0.
Coming in, I liked how things would shape up on paper. Norris had pitched so well in this building. Duke coming off the DL. Not exactly overwhelming numbers on his 2 rehab starts. tough one last night. Maybe felt like the tables would turn here this evening.
Next pitch, and Lee swings, and this one high in the air, left center, but playable again for Young, the center fielder, over and makes the catch. Now, there were 2 swings that inning that were vicious. One by Pence, one by Lee. And fairly good contact made, but not enough. 2 deep fly ball outs, and the inning is over. No runs. 1 Astros hit, and a man left, and we'll go to the 5th inning tonight here at Minute Maid Park. Diamondbacks 6, Astros nothing. Six runs, 6 hits, no errors for Arizona. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 error for the Astros. A costly error as a pitch to Roberts swung on, and that one lifted high in the air right field. Playable for Hunter Pence. He's there. He makes the catch, and Roberts is out. One away here at the top of the 5th inning. Stephen Drew heads to the plate. Now in the 5th, we'll check our Major League scoreboard. Brought to you by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Visit papajohns.com to order now. So here's Drew, who is twice single to right, and in both cases ignited run-scoring innings for the Diamondbacks. The first pitch to him, Norris fires one low and in, ball 1. Of course, on both those occasions, he was leading off the inning. Who knows how he'll do here with the bases empty, 1 out. 1-0 pitch. And that is outside, ball 2. Drew's in some ways been the catalyst, though, for this Diamondbacks offense today. We say that. The big hit is Zach Duke's home run. The 2-0 down the middle, and that's a strike.
Of course, he got balked in for a run. He could have been out at second base in a stolen base attempt, but the ball got jarred loose, and he scored again. So he scored runs in some unusual fashions.
2-1, and he swings right through a changeup. That'll even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Top of the 5th. 6-0 Arizona lead, but a 2-2 count on Drew. Here's the pitch, and there's a swing, and that's fouled back our direction, but a little bit too high and a little bit too far to our left. There'd be no play even if we'd had our gloves. Infield back deep here. Norris delivering 2-2, and that is a breaking ball, but it misses a little bit low. Toll surprised, Norris surprised. I think Drew's heartbeat might have even skipped a beat. But new life for him, and that might have been a little low. Here's the next pitch, and there's a swing and a liner in the left field, a base hit. Drew is 3 for 3 tonight. A 1-out single in the 5th inning.
Well, let me give you some scores. Red Sox and Tigers, they are in a rain delay right now in Detroit. In fact, they haven't even started that game. Indians defeated the Rays 7-3 in St. Pete. Longoria, the new leadoff hitter for Tampa Bay, hit his 3rd home run. In 14 innings, the Blue Jays over the White Sox 9-8. You talked about all those home runs this afternoon. Right now, the Rangers blanking the Royals 6-0 in Arlington. That's in the top of the 4th inning.
All right, here's 6-0 Arizona. Young at the plate now, and he'll check his swing, but it's called a strike. The count 0-1. Young popped up in the 2nd inning harmlessly. Struck out in the 4th inning. Comes in hitting .232, but it's a deceiving .232. He's a dangerous hitter. 9 home runs, 27 RBIs, 14 doubles. 1 strike pitch, a check swing. He went around again in the count 0-2. Sorry. Young 15 doubles and 2 triples. Yesterday was tied for the league lead in extra base hits. May very well be the story again today. He's ready right side of the plate. The 0-2, and there's a swing and a foul tip. He just does stay alive. Yeah, Chris Young and Prince Fielder lead the National League in extra base hits. Young hitting .232. Man at first, 1 out. They're leading. Here comes a pitch, and that's a fastball up above the belt. Ball 1.
Finish things up in your scoreboard. Angels and Twins, no score. Bottom of the 4th in Minnesota. Orioles and A's later on. Yankees and Mariners much later tonight in Seattle. So that's the junior circuit.
All right. Norris peeks at that runner again. Now to the plate. There's a swing and a bouncer at 3rd base side foul. And the count stays a ball and 2 strikes on Chris Young. Young has only bounced into 1 double play this year. I think the Diamondbacks in general do a good job of staying out of the double plays. In part, that may well be because they are aggressive on the base paths. Anybody will run. Drew takes a good lead again. The 1-2 pitch. There's a swing, and that ball's hit high in the air near second base. The shortstop Barmes is there, and he'll haul in the pop-up for the 2nd out of the inning. Drew stays at first, and now here comes Miguel Montero. It's been the even-numbered innings so far tonight for Arizona. They got 2 in the 2nd. They got 4 in the 4th. If that pattern follows, it would be a 6-run 6th.
We don't want that, no.
Well, I don't think there's any interest in seeing that pattern extended. The odd-numbered innings have gone real well. Field back deep now. Montero ready, left side. Here's the pitch from Norris. And it's high and away, ball 1.
To me, though, Montero had the big hit in the 4th inning. And I know Duke had the 3-run homer, and it was a game-changing type of hit. But after that near strike him out, throw him out double play, Drew was still at second base. Montero got a 2-strike pitch up, hit it down the right field line, made it 3-0, and really kind of kick-started the frame for Arizona.
1-0 pitch. There's a swing and a bouncer towards second base. Bill Hall moving to his right has it. Throws over to first. In plenty of time to get Montero by a couple of steps. Inning over. Another really good odd-numbered inning. No run, 1 hit, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It's still the Diamondbacks 6 and the Astros nothing. Astros with one hit today. The Clint Barnes single in the 4th inning. That's the only base runner they've had all day today against Zach Duke. Longtime Pirate. I mentioned earlier today the all-time winningest pitcher at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. But now a Diamondback, and today his Arizona debut on the road with his new club after spending the better part of the season on the disabled list. His first pitch to Johnson is shanked foul over to the right side, out of play. Johnson grounded out to second in the second, hitting .214. 5 home runs, 23 RBIs, but he has 6 RBIs in his last 7 games, and I believe one of the reasons why he's slotted 5th today in the order. 1 strike pitch, there's a swing, and that one is off the fifth, foul again to the right side, this time about 10 rows up. Far edge of the Astros dugout, and a souvenir for a fan down there. Looks like a gentleman with a glove unable to reach over and make the play. And a youngster got it instead. The 0-2, very high with a fastball. Ball 2 strikes to Chris Johnson. Left-handed hitting Brett Wallace waits on deck. Here's the 1-2, and there's a swing, and that one is hit foul again to the right side. Must be the same section of seats out there. He's just feeding them foul ball after foul ball. Somebody ought to throw up an impromptu Chris Johnson fan club down there. The 1-2 pitch. Ground ball to third base. Backing up Roberts. He's got it. Good strong arm, and the throw is in time to get Chris Johnson one away in the 5th inning. We need to check National League scores.
Give you a few finals. Brewers over the Giants 3-2 today at Miller Park. Low scoring game in DC. Padres 2 and Nationals 1. Heath Bell gets another save. Pirates though just clobbered the Cubs in Chicago 10-0. 1, 2, 3, 4 home runs for the Pirates. The Cubs had just 3 hits as they got shut out. Rockies lead the Cardinals 7-0 through 2 innings in Colorado.
Now Brett Wallace stands in, and he'll take a slider right on the outside corner for a strike. Kind of cocks his head a little bit. And home plate umpire Brian Runge, as if to say, you're nuts. He's down low. It's 1-1. A 9-year-old ever just kind of cock his head at you like that, like very dismissively?
About twice an hour.
Here's a 1-1. That's a swing and a miss, strike 2. I don't know why when I saw the gesture from Wallace, I thought of my oldest son. He kind of gave the umpire that look like, whatever.
Mine might have a sarcastic comment interchanged.
2-1 pitch, a swing and a miss. He went chasing. I didn't say 2-1 pitch. That was a 2-strike pitch. And Wallace is out. But you can't just eject your son.
I try. There's a mediator. It's called Mom, and she might get between the 2 of us.
I suppose somebody has to. Well, 2 quick outs here in the 5th inning, and now here's Bill Hall, who's 0 for 1. Bottom of the 5th, 6-0 Diamondbacks, and Hall will take a fastball on the outside corner for a strike. Duke right now is hitting every corner. He's mixing in all of his pitches for strikes. And the lefty's 0-1. Backdoor breaking ball, but it misses. They want an appeal on a check swing, and at first base, DJ Rayburn waves his arms out to his side and says, no, he didn't swing. 1-1 the count. Another pitch, a swing and a bouncer toward first. Coming in Miranda. He's got it, underhands it to Duke, covering the bag, and the Astros go quietly in the 5th inning. Duke has faced 1 over the minimum through 5. We go to the 6th inning tonight. This one, all Diamondbacks. Duke with a big home run as well. They lead the Astros 6-0. quick numbers on Rodriguez. Fernando, no wins, no losses. In fact, hey, look at this. It's his debut. he makes it in a ball game in which the Astros trail 6-0. So Rodriguez coming into pitch for Bud Norris in a frustrating day for him. A double switch as Matt Downs comes on to play second base as well, meaning Rodriguez will slot into the 7th spot of the order. Downs will be due to bat second in the bottom of this 6th inning. The Diamondbacks leading 6-0. Here to tell you more about Fernando Rodriguez and bring you all the play-by-play is Milo Hamilton.
All right, the captain is back in the Gallery Furniture broadcast booth here at Minute Maid Park. Well, this has been a ball game that's been kind of exactly the opposite of what we thought with Norris, the way he's been pitching, Dave. And you wondered what Duke could do for them. Well, Duke has done a lot for them.
Faced one over the minimum through 5 innings. He has been terrific to watch. I listened to a little bit of the Cubs game today against the Pirates, and it comes to mind because Duke, the longtime Pirate, Paul Maholm, was just dominant today, and Cubs announcers could not say enough about the effort that he gave on a difficult day to pitch. And today, you kind of have to echo similar sentiments about Zach Duke. He has just been spot on from the start tonight, holding the Astros in check. Meanwhile, it has not gone as well for Astros pitching.
And the first pitch from Rodriguez is fouled off by Miranda, and we're underway here in the 6th inning. When you're planning your next Florida vacation, be sure to include a look at Kissimmee, the spring training home of your Astros. You can discover Kissimmee, the heart of Florida, and I'll tell you how to learn more about it after another pitch to Miranda. And the pitch goes outside. It's a ball and a strike. Learn more at www.visitkissimmee.com and discover more about Kissimmee for your next Florida vacation. Miranda has walked and struck out swinging, popping it over here to the left side, and it'll go up above the third base dugout, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ara's on deck, and it'll be the pitcher's spot. Duke may have more surprising feeling on his own as the way he's pitched tonight. It may go with his bat. Duke.
Well, that was a surprise for everybody.
That's what I mean. That might go to the head of the class for him.
I mean, I think you can expect Zach Duke to come out every now and then and throw a really nice ball game. And the injury he sustained this year was not one that would really affect his ability to pitch, being hit on the hand with a line drive.
Here's the 2-2. Just missed at the knees, and that'll fill it.
So you can't be shocked that he has come out and thrown a good ball game today. What you can be shocked about is the fact that he hit a 3-run homer to left field following an intentional walk. That intentional walk has just backfired time and again, though, for the Astros.
Here's another payoff. Swung on. Fly ball right field. Pinch going back. He's at the track. He's at the wall. And he's going to catch it right at the wall in front of the Stanley sign. You weren't sure till it came down whether it was going to stay in here or not.
Still not real sure how it stayed in here. Talk about just getting underneath one a little bit. Off the bat, I was fearful that would have been Miranda's 3rd home run of the series. I was more than prepared to put a Tutti Frutti hat on him and ask him to do a little samba and give up this batting nonsense. But he just missed.
This is Para. Sac fly, got their 2nd run in the 2nd inning. Here's a pop down the left side. Carlos coming over. Does he have room? He reaches up into that railing, comes down.
No ball.
No ball. Even as high as he went, you lost track of where the ball was, but the third base umpire, who is the crew chief, Ted Barrett, he ran a good 150 feet down there to make sure that play was all legit.
Now, he went down there, made a great leaping effort. It went right off his glove. He jumped up and got over the railing. It just hit off the end of his glove and then to the fans.
There's another foul over to the left side. Power now in the hole. 0-2. That was quite an effort by Carlos.
That was as good as an effort I think we've seen any left fielder make against that particular barrier going up over the railing. I don't think I've seen anybody make that catch before.
Now back.
For that matter, get a glove on one like that before. So that was pretty nice.
Still 0-2 to the 8-hitter Para. Hasn't had an official at bat tonight. A sac fly and a walk. Driven in a run and scored a run. And the pitch. Hey, chase some high heat upstairs. Hey, that was a 93 on that gas right there.
Oh, nicely done. Fernando Rodriguez, congratulations on the strikeout. Again, we mentioned making his debut tonight. He was added to the roster about a little over a week, almost 2 weeks ago.
And that's down and out. And like our manager, Brad Mills, told us on one of his pregame interviews on this homestand, that's up out of there. Most of our games have been so tough and tight, it's tough to get some of the guys into the games. This is a perfect spot to get him in here.
Yeah. 10 days now on the roster. Finally getting a chance.
That's up out of there. Ball 3 now. The Duke, I guess his reputation has preceded him. They're pitching very carefully.
Yes. You must.
3-0. And a strike makes it 3-1.
The fans wondering, Fernando did make one prior major league appearance for the Dodgers.
Swing and they miss. That'll fill the count.
That was back in 2009. I'm sorry, not the Dodgers, the Angels. Pitched 2/3 of an inning, but that was that's all the major league experience he has.
And he gets Duke on a foul tip, and JR Tolles Mitt. 1-2-3 inning. Not a bad way to get that first appearance.
Oh, very nice.
Couple of strikeouts and a fly ball to right. Going to the bottom of the 6th. And the Astros are down 6-0 here in the middle of the 6th on Astros Radio. Now this. And we're joined now by one of the greatest names in the history of Houston baseball. I can say that because I saw him do all of the things that he did with a great career that's going to get him to Cooperstown. Craig Biggio with us. Bidge, great to see you.
Milo, good to see you. The check will be in the mail. Thank you, buddy.
No check necessary.
Or dinner.
We're going to dinner sometime.
We can do that.
Okay. Seriously, first time I've seen you in person, first time on the air. to congratulate you on coaching your high school team to another state title recently.
Well, thank you, Milo. It was.
Here's a bouncer to third. Roberts right there. That'll take care of Tolles, and it's one away.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, our guys played well, and I got to be honest. I mean, I said it before. When I retired, I heard a lot of things about the talent level in the city of Houston. But once again, it just it goes to show you that there's so many good teams, and what we were able to do again for the second year in a row, it's get some great quality teams, and I'm really proud of my guys.
And to have your two sons who are on the club, a lot of people are hearing us for the first times because, as they explained it to me before the game, are on worldwide tonight on MLB.com. But to have one of your sons, the oldest one that's already committed to Notre Dame, get the hit that won the game that got you in the title game, and the score was 4-3. Then the younger son, the sophomore, gets the home run to win the title. Again, the score 4-3.
Yeah, it's 4-3. Yeah, the funny thing about it, is that, the boys came through when we needed them, and I was real proud of them. But I think, the most proud of I was that, I mean, basically our offense was pretty, our team was pretty much based on offense and defense. And our pitching staff kind of, got through some battles this year. But the reason why we won the state championship is because that we've had 4 of the games that we played were won by 4-3. We won because of our pitching staff. And I couldn't be happy for those guys because of that, everything's being talked about for your offense. And we had our struggles at times pitching-wise. But you know what? They came through when we needed it, and we wouldn't have won without them.
Are you losing some key kids?
Every year you do. I think we lost 6 starters from 2 years ago, and then we replaced them with, and then this year's team had 10 seniors. So, but you deal with it, you move on. We've got some good young kids that got their feet wet a little bit this year that, you start leaning on. That's one of the things that I kind of like to do is, if a kid earns it and deserves it, then he'll be where he needs to be, not just because he's a freshman or sophomore that he needs to be on JV.
Coach him up. Come on, just coach him up.
If you're good, you're good. And I haven't met a coach that won't play his best player. So to me, if you're a freshman, sophomore, or junior, whatever, the best kids are going to play.
Here's the 3-2 now to Downs, batting for the first time and draws a walk. Downs has done a nice job for us.
He has. He's taken advantage of the opportunities that he gets to get in games and some of the starts that he's been getting.
Well, you can depend on Johnny Grubb and Frankie B, Steve Tyrell, and all the guys who played there in their youth.
That's right, they did.
And I don't imagine they're absent much from helping get you some kids.
No, well, yeah, it's just kind of, we're doing a lot of good things over there. That we just built the new parking garage that was desperately needed, and now they're looking for building $11 million recreation center. 2 new gyms, locker rooms, training rooms, and then hopefully we're close to raising that money, and hopefully we can go to breaking ground on that soon. So, if you're a kid in the area and you're excited about baseball and getting a great education, it's not a bad place to be.
Brought to you by.
That's right.
0-2, and a big new hitting background.
Yeah, the hitting background is really, really nice. Yeah, it was desperately needed since we built the parking garage. Once that went up, all those trees in the backdrop, it was going to be pretty dangerous. So yeah, we were able to get that done. It came out beautiful.
Bourne has popped up and struck out looking after going 3 for 5 last night and driving in 3. He's in a hole here, 0-2. Need a lot of base runners. You're down 6-0 in the bottom of the 6th. And a ball to Bourne makes it 1-2. Our game brought to you in part right here by Reliant Energy. Reliant Energy offers a range of plans from fixed rates to monthly plans. Call them 866-RELIANT. You can call right now, 866-RELIANT. Fouling it off. Bourne trying to stay alive and keep something going to get Garmus and Pence and Lee and Johnson up here. Well, we were in front 6-0 last night.
Yeah.
Can you turn it around here?
It'd be nice and nice to flip it on them. I know that this has been a difficult start for these guys, and it's no fun.
There's a little squibbler toward third, and the throw to first by Roberts gets the speedy Bourne, and Downs moves down to second base, and there's 2 away in the inning.
Losing is no fun, and obviously, there's been a lot of everybody's been guilty of their contributions as far as the reason why some of the games you've been losing. But their attitude is upbeat. They're still working hard, and they want to get better and better, and they know that. And so it would be nice for tonight to be able to come back and flip it on them.
Be anxious to see Jordan Lyles.
Yeah, it's good for him. I mean, he's earned it. He's deserved. He went back down after spring training, and he got his feet wet in spring training, and now come up and hopefully take advantage of an opportunity. And that's what it's all about. Sometimes guys come up and they never go back.
Under different situations with the spring, if he hadn't been such a youngster as far as pitching, he'd probably made the club there instead of going back to AAA.
No doubt about it.
Here's the 1-0. And they're asking for an appeal, but the plate umpire says no need. I've already called it.
What's kind of nice for him, too, though, is that now that he knows he earned it, you know what I'm saying? He's not saying that he didn't earn it coming out of spring training, but now that, the season started, your numbers are well, and you're the next guy that was in line. And I'm happy for him and wish him all the success in the world.
Ready for the 2-0. It's on the way. And that's a strike to Barmas. He has the only Astro hit here tonight. We've been out hit 7-1, outscored 6-0. Wrap it up here tomorrow. Happ will be going. Then it's on the road to Wrigley and San Diego. And the pitch. Swinging. Oh, boy, he had a good cut. With the round too quickly on it, right, Ben?
He did, just a little bit. He's battle. I mean, let's see what happens here. Just get on, get a run across, and then go from there, and then hopefully it gets a little contagious. You're not going to hit a 6-run homer. That's the difference. I mean, you're just trying to do whatever he's going to give you. So whether he gives you a walk, walk. If not, you battle right now. Try to put the ball in play. You put the ball in play, you stand a chance.
Ready for the 2-2, and here it is. High fly ball. It's going to be playable in left center, and the center fielder Young has it, and that will retire the side. Can you give me another half inning?
Sure, you got it, buddy.
All right. It's still 6-0, Arizona. Stolen bases again this year at Minute Maid. Cons donates $100 to the Astros in Action Foundation for every one of them. Cons, providing quality service for more than 100 years. And thank you, Cons, for your continued support of the Astros in Action Foundation. And speaking of the foundation, we've got our 9th annual 5K walk run Monday morning. I'll be over here at 7 o'clock to start making the announcements. Then we'll sound the big buzzer and send them through the starters gate at 7:45. That's Monday right here at Minute Maid Park. We're going to have thousands again. It's always great. And the breaking ball from Rodriguez. Boy, he came on with his debut with us and had a 1-2-3, bitch.
He did nice. I mean, you're never going to forget that first inning. And I was sitting next to Brocail the box next door, and it's kind of like when the guy hit the ball, it's kind of like, you'll never forget it if you give up your first batter as a big league homer. But obviously, he fell short of the warning track and
came right back with 2 strikeouts.
You know, his heart's just pounding a mile a minute. He's working on some serious adrenaline, and there's only one time you get your big league debut, and you'll never forget it.
Pitch goes up and in to Bloomquist. He's 1 for 3 tonight. A bounce to the mound, a line to center, and a base hit. Right on the fist, and he fouled it down the right side. He feels like his hands now were in a snowblower.
That was pretty, he's got a pretty good arm. He tops out at 96, and got a nice little curveball and a changeup. So, this is a good opportunity for him, especially with the score. You always want to get these guys in there for the first time when it's kind of the least less pressure for them to go out there and make their debut if you could. And I think Millsy's doing a nice job of it.
Here's the 1-2, and fouling back. And you talked about the record isn't where we want it, but the games have all been so tough and tight. And I mentioned it before you came over. Mills says, I'm having a tough time getting some of the guys into games because I need my best guys in there.
Yeah, he does, and he's trying to win games. That's what it's about. I mean, it's the bottom line is that they've lost some serious heartbreakers. And I've been in the clubhouses before in 90, 91, whatever, where we lost close to 100 ball games, but we didn't lose. We didn't get killed in all those games. We lost a lot of games by 1 run, 2 runs, which means we were in it. We just didn't know how to win. We didn't know how to do that. We didn't have we had 15, 16 rookies on the team. So as far as the veteran leadership, we didn't have any of that. You know what I mean? So we were just sitting out there fighting and surviving, trying to figure out how to do this until we finally did. And we got a bunch of pennants on the wall out there. But, you feel for these guys because, it's been a lot of the games that have been close and you've had opportunities to win, and unfortunately they haven't been able to win them.
2-2 count here to Bloomquist, Johnson on deck. And it was right after that with those tough, tight games for the Caminettis and the Biggios, and along came Bagwell, and that's when you started to build toward what you talked about, what's on the wall out there.
Luis Gonzalez, Steve Finley, we had all those guys coming in, and we all, that was some fun times back then. The early 90s was great, and because we learned a lot about ourselves, and we used to hang out all the time, and it was just fun. It was fun being a part of it, and then obviously you had the run in 97, 98, 99. We opened the building in 2000 and absolutely were horrible. And then I think the 01 season was the year that we actually saved the franchise because everybody came out.
There's a line drive right to Downs at second.
Everybody came out and, saw the stadium in 2000, and then, you had to win in 2001, and then we did. So we were able to do that. So but those are some good times back then, and there were some great people in the organization and great teammates and great friends.
This is Johnson. He's 0 for 3 tonight. He's 2 for 7 in the series. Left-hand batting second baseman. That's a ball outside. Kirk Gibson. I don't think a lot of us thought he would manage. I think maybe thought he'd coach a little while. He had a good career. Had a lot of great things happen to him. But he's put together a veteran coaching staff.
Yeah.
And I think they're nailing things down over there. That's why they're playing better.
They are.
Here's a base hit into left field.
I had a chance to talk to Gibby before the game a little bit, and I really wanted to go over there more so just talk about hunting than anything. We just started visiting about some stuff. Yeah, he's got some old school coaches on that staff, and they give it right back to these players. They don't let them get away with anything, and they hammer it on them. They get on them, and they get on them for getting in that training room. And there's a lot of guys that like to get in that training room and think it's their best friend, and it's you only go in there unless you got an issue. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times guys want to go in there and that's their excuse or whatever. And I'm not saying that, but I'm saying the way that these guys are doing it over here, they get on it. I mean, you look at the staff; it's a bunch of old-time guys. Matt Williams is a gamer. Eric Young. We had him here in our farm system, and he was a great player. And Don Baylor. I mean, there's just some solid, classy guys. Charles Nagy. He's some good, solid dudes, and it's rubbing off. And obviously, they've won what now? 10 or 11 out of 12 or 11 out of 13 or something like that.
12 out of 14.
Yeah. I mean, they're hot. I mean, they're just, they're getting the best out of their players.
Foul back, and you talked about Matt Williams in '94 when we all thought we should have been in the World Series, and it was that kind of a club, and there was Matt Williams and Baggy really battling
for the MVP
honors,
award.
weren't
Yeah,
they?
they were. It was crazy. That was an amazing year. Matt Williams had Will Clark. I think it was Matt Williams and Barry Bonds in the lineup, and you always had to go through them either in the 8th or the 9th of every single game. And Matty was having. I mean, that year, you look at those numbers, were crazy.
Here's a bouncer to short. Flip it 1. Fire it 2. Double play. Barmas downs to Wallace. It's our first double play tonight, our second in the series, and our 50th of the year, and that makes us second in the league in double plays. So that's the way to have another good inning for Rodriguez, Fernando. We've got a trio of them, you know. And time to get up here for the 7th inning stretch. We're going to Now let's have some fun with the bats. Here's the first pitch, a bouncer to short off the bat of Hunter Pence. He'll make you throw him out, won't you, Bill?
He does. You know what? He just plays the game the right way. He just does. He does the things that, you know, backing up bases and, you know, hit a ground ball like that, and he busts his tail down the line. And to me, that's how you get respect, and that's how you're supposed to play the game. And I was here, I don't know what it was, maybe a week ago or so, and there was a play in at second base coming in from left field, and he's backing up the play at second base on the dirt. I mean, he's not sitting on. He's just playing the game the right way, and he's exciting to watch. And I'm glad for the Astro fans to be able to have him.
He'd have to really have a down second, third, not to be at the All-Star game.
You hope so. I mean, you know, somebody's got to go, and his numbers and the way that he's meant to this lineup, he's definitely probably the most deserving guy.
Here is the 0-1 now to Carlos. He's 0 for 2 tonight. And that's a strike call. Got him down in the count. 0-2. Let's see if he might not change here tonight. He might figure, hey, I got to go for the Crawford boxes. There's a liner into left center. It won't split him. Young's going to get over and keep it from going through. Base hit for Carlos gives him a mini streak of 4 straight games. And that's only our second hit in this ball game. Craig Biggio, I know you got to go back and be with the guys in the front office and talk about that draft some more, and then get home to that fabulous family of yours. But thanks for the visit, and really enjoyed seeing you again.
All right, I appreciate it. Like I said, you know, dinner's on me.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, you guys are invited. You can come too.
Johnson, the batter, swings and fouls it out of play. What a treat it is when you can have Craig Biggio drop by. United Airlines flies to over 370 destinations throughout the world. When it comes to travel, the world is United's diamond. United Airlines, proud to be the official airline of the Astros. Line drive center, and it goes right out to Young. That'll make it 2 away in the inning. Chance to break it. We do it on the Astros radio network. With Dave Raymond and Brett Dolan, Milo Hamilton at Minute Maid Park. Been all D-backs tonight. They're leading 6-0. Duke, in his first appearance of the year, pitching a masterpiece. A 2-hit shutout against you. Wallace will take a strike. You got Lee at first. Base hit put him there. And I hope some of you fans out there on MLB.com with us here tonight got a kick out of hearing from Biggio. What a career he had here. Strike called. He sidearmed him with that, a little different look, and gets Wallace down in the count. 0-2. Wallace is fly to left and struck out swinging. Ready for the 0-2, and here it is. Smashed through the right side, base hit on an 0-2, lefty against lefty. Lead a second. Wallace with his second hit of the series, and makes him 2 for 7. Michaels is going to pinch hit here. Pitcher's spot was due. Jason Michaels will bat with 2 on and 2 out. And the pitch to him is a ball. Nice job for Fernando Rodriguez. Couple of innings, faced only 6 thanks to a double play after a base hit. Michael, since coming back from the rehab, just hadn't been able to get it going. And a strike called, backdoored him right there with a slider. And it's a ball and a strike. Michaels coming off the bench, batting only .156, no homers, 1 RBI after the fabulous spring training, but didn't bring it home with him. Here's the pitch. Outside, it's 2-1. 31,405. Lee at second, Wallace at first. Base hits put each of them on. Here's the pitch. Down and out to Michaels. Tolles due up next. Bottom of the 7th in the middle game. Wrap it up tomorrow. Airtime will be 12:40. And I'll start it off with our weekly general manager show with Ed Wade. 3-1. The lefty will stretch to the letters. Kick and deliver. Liner to left, but backing up to get it is Bloomquist. Ball hit right on the screws, but caught by Bloomquist, side retired. You get a couple of hits, you leave them both, and now you go to the 8th inning, still trailing 7-0. plus the Jack's Junction Jack Kids Fun Run presented by Methodist Hospital and JLH Foundation. There'll be prizes for the winners and lots to eat afterwards. For all the thousands who run in it, that's this Monday, Memorial Day. It's our 9th annual. Drew's had quite a night. 3 for 3. Scored twice. And he's stepping in here now to lead it off in the 8th inning. He led off in the 2nd. They scored 2 runs. He led off in the 4th, and they scored 4. Got his 3rd hit in the 5th inning after 1 away. Stephen Drew is up here in the first pitch to him. He is right in there for a strike call. We come to the 8th inning, and we'll be checking on scores here for Gallery Furniture. Buy it today, get it today. Gallery Furniture delivers today. And the pitch on the way. Tight of all, and Gallery Furniture delivers to Craig Biggio, too. Helping him out with the program at St. Thomas. A ball and a strike to Drew. Left-hand batter against the right-hander Valdez. Comes to a stretch at the letters. And that's down a ball. Our 8th inning look in the American League. Lots of scores out there for Dave Raymond to report on. 2 balls and 1 strike. Drew holds the bat high as he bats left-handed. Bouncer past the mound. Downs to his right. Throws across his body. Gets his man. And it's 1 away.
Well, let's get you started in the junior circuit. Toronto today scores a run in the bottom of the 14th after really letting one get away from them in the 9th inning. And they come from behind, or rather they come to an extra innings to beat the White Sox. 9-8 today. Cleveland, meanwhile, with a 4-run 8th inning, broke a tie and ended up beating Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. 7-3 the final score there.
Chris Young 0 for 3 tonight, 2 for 8 in the series. Valdez delivers to him. Kind of pushed that one a little, rushed it, went outside. Young had a notion, then laid off, and it's ball 1. D-backs 6 runs, 8 hits. The Astros scoreless with just 3 hits. Bouncer fouled on the third base side.
In the 7th inning in Texas, boy, the Rangers just demolishing Kansas City. 10-1 the score right now in the 7th inning there. Beltre, Cruz, Moreland, Napoli, and Chavez have all hit home runs for the Rangers.
They get you in that park, and sometimes they can punish you.
There's no question about that.
A ball and a strike. Valdez will bring it. Tapping it foul, 1-2.
The Twins and Angels scoreless now, 8th inning, and that was an interesting one there. Is Twins starter, I'll just double check and see. Yeah, Anthony Swarzak had a no-hitter through 7 innings. He gave up a hit in the 8th. 8 scoreless, though, 4 strikeouts for him.
1-2. Young had stepped out. Now he's back up in there to face Valdez. A ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 away. The long look, and took so long for the sign that Young stepped out on it. A high stretch again. Here it is. And a shot, a bullet down into the left field corner. Young will take off, and he will stand at second with a double. His first hit tonight, his 3rd hit in the series. He smashed that ball.
I can't help but laugh. I mean, this is a guy hitting .230, but nonetheless leads the National League in extra base hits. Right there, that one put him by Prince Fielder. And that's just it. When he makes contact with the ball, he hits it hard. Easy double right there for Chris Young. They're in a rain delay in Detroit today. The Boston Red Sox, the Detroit Tigers, after that game postponed. And then 2 games later on in the American League today, Orioles at A's and then the Yankees at Mariners. Those both West Coast contests.
And the pitch on the way, swung on, a little looper over the shortstop. That's going to get a run home because Young can pedal. Little inside-outside swing for Montero. Gets his third hit tonight, and it's now 7-0 D-backs.
Just occurred to me, the Astros yesterday had that 6-0 lead. Diamondbacks came back, scored 7 unanswered. They've scored 7 unanswered here today. That's 14 unanswered runs now in this series by the Diamondbacks.
Well, they came to town smoking, and they haven't had any damper put on the flame yet.
Yeah, you would have never expected the Juan Miranda and Zach Duke to be the guys to do all the damage.
There's a ball down and in now to Miranda. But that's what we've talked about this club. You look up and down, show me the dominant guy. Well, there isn't one. They all get in on the act.
Well, in some ways, their batting order is a bunch of guys out of their proper spots. I think in a perfect world, Stephen Drew might be a leadoff man. Maybe even Chris Young batting in the leadoff spot. But they don't really have any, prototypical big banger for the middle of the order. So that's where Drew and Young ended up, which meant that a guy like Kelly Johnson ends up batting second. Willie Bloomquist leads off. But they've just got a lot of guys probably out of their natural spots, but yet it has worked out real well for them.
Now checking in the runner at first. And that's down and in. The number that does jump at you, though, had another homer tonight, now at 56. They're second in the league in 4 baggers. That's impressive.
Yeah. They do that well, and a lot of that you would chalk up to where they play. The ball flies in Arizona, but that said, Zach Duke a home run today, Miranda 2 home runs yesterday for them here.
At the knees, a called strike, 3-1 to Miranda. Astros been out hit 10-3, outscored 7-zip. Our game in the 8th. Valdez will check on the runner at first, then bring it to the hitter, and a strike call right on the knees. Miranda jumping back. He thought that pitch was inside, but it's now a full count. After 1 away, Young doubled, and Montero brought him home with his 3rd hit of the game. And the pitch. Swinging late on the Hummer at 92. Parra will be the batter. Sac fly second, made it 2-0. Intentional walk 4th inning, scored their 5th. 6th inning, the out was made by him with a strikeout swinging. 2 away now, but a run is in. And the pitch. Started. I don't think he went, but the umpire says doesn't matter. I called it a strike. And the pitch on the way. Swinging. Fly ball right field. Pence going back by our bullpen. It'll be in the pen from Parra. 2-run homer into the Astro bullpen. That's their 2nd homer tonight. Their 4th home run of the series. And just when we got through talking about the biggest impressive figure that they have, home runs, they get another one.
It's also interesting the way in which the bottom spots in the order have caused the Astros so much damage. Parra, an 8-hole hitter. Miranda yesterday batting out of the 7th spot of the order with his 2 home runs. The bottom of the order has just tortured the Astros this season.
And no clubs have backed off from that.
No.
It's everybody.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to matter what team the Astros are facing.
Burrows batting here. He pinch hit last night and had a hit. Sean Burroughs. Pitch to him, fouled off. So now it's a 9-0 game. Valdez ready to work again. From the letters, he'll kick and fire. Backs him off on that lead elbow. And it's 2-1. Runs 7, 8, and 9 in the inning. On the knees for a strike, and it's 2-2. Big right-hander delivers, and a skimmer to second. Downs on the edge of the outfield grass, goes to one knee to make sure, throws him out, but they collect another 3 spot. That'll bring us into the middle of the 8th inning on Astros Radio for Minute Maid Park. The D-backs are leading 9-0. Now this from your local station. This is his first game, so we have no stat line to give you. So it's a good spot for Gibson to get him in here because his club is in front. 9-0 call from AAA Reno on Wednesday of this week. Well, some job tonight for their starter, Zach Duke. Tolles will be leading it off. Then it'll be Downs. And up to the top with Bourne. A 9-0 lead. D-backs about hit the Astros 11-3. And the lefty brings it on. And that's a strike at the knees on the inside corner. In case you're joining us a little late on Saturday night, Wandy Rodriguez had to go on the DL with fluid on that pitching arm, left elbow. Down and now, oh, it got a corner call, and that'll make it 0-2. So Jordan Lyles will be coming up from AAA Oklahoma City, and he'll start Tuesday against the Cubs at Wrigley. That's a night game. And a foul up this way. And remember last night when Q got hurt, had to go on the DL. So we purchased the contract from AAA Oklahoma City of Robinson Cancel. He'd been doing quite a job down there lately. And he got here in time for the game today. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Tolles, who was struck out swinging and has bounced to third. Now in the bottom of this inning, Dave's going to have a chance to look at the American League scores for Gallery Furniture. The left-hander leans forward. Kroenke delivers. Bouncer towards short. Drew right there. On to first it goes. Takes care of Tolles. 1 away in the inning.
Well, let me get you started on your National League scores. Padres today 2-1 winners at Washington. Lance Nix with a solo home run for the Nats. Their only offense today. Pirates clobbered the Cubs today 10-0. Paul Maholm held Chicago to 3 hits. Was absolutely dominant in picking up just his 2nd win of the year.
And the pitch on the way. There's a big swing and a miss by Downs. He's been up once in the game. That was in the 6th inning after he'd come on in a double switch, and he walked in that at bat, which really isn't an at bat. Doesn't count as one. Swing and a miss. He's in the hole. 0-2.
Milwaukee today beat the Giants 3-2 on a bases loaded squeeze in the bottom of the 9th inning. What a wild way to win a ball game. Axford got the win in that one. Guillermo Mota, the man who gave up that squeeze bunt.
And the pitch on the way. Look out. That's up and in. I think the plate umpire was injured and had to leave the game in that ball game too at Milwaukee. Dangerous place to be right now is around home plate.
That's for sure, especially in the National League.
Here's the pitch. Tied on the knees, and it's 2-2.
Phillies and Mets are playing in New York, and that game tied at 2 in the 8th inning. The Phillies just scored a run to tie the game. 7th inning in Colorado. Ooh, the Rockies 12, the Cardinals 1.
And there's a strike call, and Downs knew it. So the kid just up from AAA Reno retires the first 2 he faces here. And you go to the top with Bourne. Bourne says, don't they have any righties out there?
Yeah, not a night to be a left-handed hitter. And Bourne never did have much fun against Zach Duke in his career. Did not tonight, and now has to get his first look at Kroenke.
And the pitch to Bourne. Fouls it up here to the left side. Bourne, after the big night last night, 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. He's gone the other way tonight, 0 for 3. And hasn't had the ball out of the infield. A pop up to the catcher. A called strike 3 and a grounded to third. 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th. Pitch on the way. Crowds him on that lead shoulder. Backs him out of there.
Just 2 final things to tell you in the National League. The Reds and Braves tied at 6. 7th inning in Atlanta. Brian McCann's knocked out a couple of home runs there. Freddie Freeman has hit one as well.
Not that same guy.
No.
There's a bouncer to first. Miranda will run to the back and head first slide by Bourne. I think he thinks he beat the rap. I think if Miranda had that play to make over, he might have flipped it. But he tried to beat him, and it was a bang, bang play. 1, 2, 3 for Kroenke, just up from AAA. And we'll go to the 9th inning. 9-0 Arizona. Night, and the pitch to him, pours it right on the outside corner for a strike. Remember, after the game, the famous and popular Jeremy Camp concert will take place right here at Minute Maid Park. One of the reasons for the big crowd tonight. And that's a ball away, and it is 1-1. Say, don't strike out by paying too much for car insurance. Switch to Geico, and you could save 15% or more on your car insurance. Tell you what to do. Here's the pitch. Down and out. You visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. You can call right now for your free rate quote. Geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Don't strike out by paying too much for car insurance. That's up out of there. And it's now a 3-1 count to the leadoff batter, left fielder, Willie Bloomquist. Johnson on deck, then Roberts. Ready again. Valdez delivers. Fly ball center. Bourne going back. Should have it right now, and he does. Headed back on an angle a little toward right center. And one away here in the top of the ninth. Johnson 1 for 4 at a hit in the 7th inning. Johnson, a left-hand batting second baseman. Valdez ready, and he brings it. And that goes outside, and it's ball 1. Jay Happ pitches tomorrow. We'll be on the air with Ed Wade and the general manager's show at 12:40. And the pitch. Woo! Challenged him with some heat and got it by him on that swing and a miss. Well, a lot of work being done in this ballpark on the draft coming up, and that'll be one of the subjects tomorrow for the Ed Wade show. Here's the pitch. Cut again and comes up empty. Now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nobody on, 1 out in the Arizona ninth. They've had it all their own way tonight. Counting going back to last night, as Dave pointed out earlier, they've now scored 16 unanswered. Swing and a miss. Toll's got to chase it. And he'll throw to first. But he won't be in time because they had to come clear back to the base of the screen. Strikeout, but a wild pitch has the runner at first. Second strikeout for Valdez, but the wild pitch has Johnson at first. Ryan Roberts 0 for 4 tonight, 2 for 9 in the series. Valdez ready. Wallace playing behind the runner. There's a liner down toward the left side. Going to bang up against the American League scoreboard. Carlos will fire it into second base. And just sneaking in there is Roberts. They've got runners at second and third with 1 out. Carlos played that well off the base of that American League board. The throw came in, and just there, safely, Roberts. So here they come again. Runners second and third. Roberts with that doubles now hit safely in 8 out of his last 10 games. The batter is Drew, 3 for 4 tonight. And that's a strike called. They now have a dozen hits, good for 9 runs. And Drew fouls it off. That makes it 0-2. So Valdez working the 8th and 9th, throwing a lot of pitches. He's thrown 34. They got 3 runs off of him in the 8th. And they've got things set up to maybe do more damage here. Runners second and third with 1 out. Threw in the dirt. It bounced away from Tolles to the left, but looking right at it, the runner at third. Johnson no way to move on. And it's 1 and 2. Valdez tips the cap back, mops his brow, goes to the rosin bag. Working on Drew, who went hitless last night, got 3 walks, but tonight has gotten 3 hits. And that's what they do. Somebody's picking somebody up all the time. That's the reason for the big improvement in this D-back club this year. That goes down and out. They've been flailing. Boy, now, this year, they hang on here and they're leading 9-0 in the 9th. They'd go 4 over 500. And also it would give them, what, 13 and 2 in the last 15? Yeah. That's the way you make a move. Play 11 over 500 in the last couple of weeks. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Drew batting, Young on deck. Left-hand batter waiting on the right-hand reliever. Valdez brings it. Here's a bouncer, and it'll tip off the third baseman's glove, going to shallow left. They'll get 1 run out of it. Barmas fortunately went back to get it. Single RBI, still runners second and third, and another run is in for the visiting D-backs. So now they've got a 10-0 lead and 13 hits. 4 hits tonight for Stephen Drew. His first RBI in the series. He leads them in RBIs. That's number 29. That's another way of telling you they don't have a guy that drives in 30 or 40. They're all a part of it, and there is a swing and a miss. For instance, you've got him with 29. Montero, Roberts, Upton, and Young are all in their 20s. Not on the calendar, but in the RBI column. That's balance. 0-1. Runners on the corners. Here's the pitch. Diddy asking. First base umpire said yes, couldn't hold up. 2 strikes to Chris Young. He's had a hit tonight. That was a double in the 8th inning, and that triggered a 3-run inning when he scored run number 7 later in that frame. Astros been out hit 13-3, outscored 10-0. And here's the pitch. High fly ball left. Carlos back on the track in front of the National League board. Another run comes home on the sac fly. Roberts home with yet another run. Boy, you had to hold your breath a little on that too, huh?
Another deep fly ball, although the deeper relative term, and this left field, that's a deep fly ball, 315 feet almost. Carlos has had a couple of those scary moments though back there at the wall.
So runs 10 and 11, scoring in the inning here, and they're still batting. Runner first base, Stephen Drew. Montero the batter. And a strike called. He's had a big night. 3 hits, driven in a run, and scored 3 times and make that another RBI. Driven in 2, scored 3. So from the 6 down to the bottom, including the starting pitcher Duca with a 3-run homer. There's a flare into left. Carlos going back 5-6 steps. And the side has been retired. But they don't miss opportunities when they're there. So we go to the bottom of the 9th inning, 11-0 Arizona. Oh, we've got a proposal on the big screen. Oh, she looked at it. She okayed the ring. She didn't put it on. She checked it out. Okay. That's her prerogative, I guess. But usually doesn't the guy just kind of slip it on there? Anyway, she said yes. Barmas 1 for 3 at a hit in the 4th inning. He got our first hit. After Duke had retired the first 10. Then he went on to retire 6 more after that before walking downs. They never really got anything started against Zach Duke. Ball and a strike to Barmas. Pence due up next. Pence got an 8-game hitting streak on the line. Pitch to Barmas, fouls it up this way, right below us. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the pitch, swinging, a little flare down the right side, and it'll drop. Tara came over, just couldn't get there. 2 hits tonight for Barmas. He has half of our hits. Now Hunter Pence. 0 for 3, a bounce out, a fly out, and a ground out again. Been so hot again, an 8-game hitting streak. You'd like to see him do something, get 1 positive out of this game. Pence batting with Barmas at first. And that's a strike on the outside corner. D-back pitchers have walked but 1 here tonight. That's down and out. So they haven't given you a chance after they got the early lead to put any free runners on, and they just kept tacking them on themselves. Scored in 4 innings, total of 11 runs on 13 hits. And Hunter takes the big rip and fouls it back to the base of the screen. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. With the 0 for 3 tonight, it's dropped him under 300 at 297. Left-hander checks it first and delivers. And that's down. That'll level it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Carlos Lee on deck. Last night was a frustrating game because you led 6-0 and they came back and got it. Tonight the Astros were never really in it. And we've talked so much about how this ball club battles so much of the time, and it's true. But this is one of those rare birds this year, this club getting blown out. 11-0. Stretch for the lefty. Chopper up the third base side. And the throw, he won't have a throw. Roberts knew it. And an infield top roller gives Pence a 9-game hitting streak. Hit number 5 for the Astros. And Carlos, who has 1 of the hits in 3 trips, is going to be the batter. Bounced short, he's flied to center. He singled in the 7th inning. Hunter in the streak, 15 for 38. Well, let's try to get off the schneid at least. Nobody out and 2 on. Pitch on the way. And they smash the third. Bullet down past the third baseman, down under the American League board. Run is in. Stop sign at third. because when it's 11-0, there's no sense taking a chance. The shutout is gone. Barmas scoring. Pence to third. Lee with a double and an RBI. We've had as many hits in this inning as we had in the first 8.
Well, consider the fact, too, the Astros had not gotten a man to third base until this inning. The first guy wasn't there long. Barmas running right past it all the way to home, and now Pence stationed at third. So, a real quiet night for Dave Clark over there in that third base coach's box.
Lonely. Swing and a foul back by Johnson. Johnson 0 for 3 tonight. Carlos getting his 10th double. Picks up his 26th run batted in. Ready for the 0-1 to Johnson. Fouling it over here to the right. Puts him down in the count 0-2. Johnson batting. Wallace due up next. Pence at third. Carlos at second. The left-hander, fresh up from AAA, delivers. Look out. Pushes him back on that lead shoulder. And it's 1-2. The long look in. Now he has the sign, stretches to the belt and delivers. And a shot through the hole. 1 run will score. It was hit sharply, plus Carlos had to wait to make sure it went through. Pence is home. Carlos to third. Base hit, RBI. Chris Johnson picking up his 24th RBI of the season.
An old adage about the final 3 outs of a ball game being the most difficult to get. On a night when the first 24 outs came all too easily to Zach Duke and Zach Kroenke, all of a sudden now, they just, talking about the Diamondbacks pitching staff, they can't seem to find one anywhere. Amazing.
Wallace will bat against the young lefty, and Wallace tonight has had 1 hit. That was in the 7th inning. He's 2 for 7 in the series. Angel Sanchez is on deck. He would pinch hit. Here's the pitch. Swinging and fouling it down the left side. Strike 1. D-backs 11-13-0. The Astros 2-7-1. There's still nobody out in the inning. The fans who are here waiting for the Jeremy Camp concert, being treated to some offense here, had to wait till the 9th inning to see it. And a strike. Gave him a little sidearm. And got it on the inside corner, and it is 0-2. Wallace batting .313 is your leading hitter. Here's the pitch. Fouling it. Boom! Got into those lower boxes. 0-2 now to Brett Wallace. There's a bouncer to the first baseman, comes to the bag. Across the plate is Carlos. 3rd run of the inning. 3 unassisted takes care of Wallace, but he picks up his 16th run batted in. Sanchez being announced as the pinch hitter. Chance to break it, top of the hour on the Astros Radio Network. Sanchez looks at a pitch up out of there, a ball. Sanchez hitting .264. Off the bench, he's 2 for 3 with an RBI. Sanchez has 18 runs batted in. And there's a comebacker to the mound. Holding on at second is Johnson. That'll make it 2 away in the inning. J.R. Tolles 0 for 3 tonight. He had his moment the other day when he broke an 0 for 32 and then had the walk-off single. A .219 hitter as he bats here in the ninth. Greinke ready. Tolles will swing and pop it up. And the ball game will end as it goes kerplunk into second baseman Johnson's glove. Astros did do something at the end, getting 3 runs on 4 hits. There weren't any errors, and they left a man. So the D-backs, who pulled out their magic act in the opener Friday night, tonight didn't need any magic. They just simply dominated and ran away and hid before the Astros got something going in the bottom of the ninth.